I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com, and today I got a comment on the YouTube channel, and it was from a guy that's been a long-term commenter to the channel, and he said that he's getting thoughts about alcohol after 2 years of not drinking it. He obviously wants to know what's going on, so I'll read this out. He said, I've been off the rotten stuff for a little over 2 years. Would agree that over time the urge grows dim, or at least rare. Having a drink is just something I don't think about anymore, usually. But once in a while, the thought comes into my head, and not even in times of stress or a triggering situation, but out of the blue, like I'm in a convenience store or supermarket, and the thought pops into my head from nowhere. Hey, should I grab a cold one? Personally, I just do a mental eye roll and say to myself in full sarcasm mode, oh yeah, that would be a great idea. Then I shake my head, have a good inward laugh at myself and move on. So, it's not a daily struggle by any means. Life is now too good for that. But you have to keep your guard up. Don't get too cocky and never forget why you're not drinking anymore. My 2 cents, right? And I have to say, right, that I get it too, It's the same thing. After 3.5 years, I still get that mental little brain fart, right, in the back recesses of my brain, right, that says, oh, wouldn't a nice cold beer be really nice now, As you say, life is too good now, Life is way too good to even think about those falling into that kind of a trap. Memory is just a funny old thing, I mean, the other day I was thinking about an ex-girlfriend of mine, and it was something. I was walking down, we were in Alicante, myself and my partner, walking down the road, and I don't know what it was. It was a perfume, or it could have been a smell of a bakery, or I don't know what the hell it was, right? But it was something that triggered a memory of an ex-girlfriend. And it wasn't, this was a girlfriend from years ago when I was a teenager, right? You're talking over 30 years ago, when I was in the flush of my youth. And it was somebody that I hadn't thought about in a long time, And I didn't even go out with the girl for long. It was, a couple of months, I think it was, And I just got a really vivid impression in my mind. It's just the way the memory works. And, you could read all sorts of shit into that, It's the same as this bullshit about the brain, the brain when it's asleep, when you're dreaming, that you wake up and you can read all sorts of crap into your dreams and stuff like that. Yeah, fair enough. If you have a dream, and I've been dreaming a lot about my dad lately, and I never really had lots of dreams about my dad, but since he's passed away, I've had a lot, and it doesn't take much of a fucking intellect to figure out, I'm dreaming about my dad now because I miss him, and because he's died, and but when you start getting into it and you start interpreting things and go, well, this really means that you're psychologically damaged by it, that you haven't sort of gone through the grieving process. Who the fuck makes up this stuff, But I'm saying, I can hear a song on the radio and it'll take me back to my forestry days, right? And I'll see where I was in the forest when I was listening to that song, maybe for the first time or whatever it is, And I'm saying that your memory is a weird thing, When you're walking through the supermarket, or when you're in a restaurant and you might spot something that just triggers that urge to have a drink, and it's nothing more than a memory resurfacing, a feeling that you had, and something that made you feel good at the time. And it's a natural sort of emotion to sort of want to do that again, to sort of want to replicate that emotion, you know. There's so many different things that can trigger, you know. A thought can trigger another thought. The weather can trigger a thought. As you say, a supermarket can trigger it, a person, a telephone call, whatever, you know. There's so many different things that can trigger it, and you can't pinpoint it down to, you know, possibly to one trigger. Maybe you can. Maybe you smell something and you go, oh geez, that reminds me of a certain thing, then, you know. But, you know, there's nothing really you can do about it. It's I mean, if you start really starting to crave a beer, then, you know, sit down and think about it and go, well, realistically, this is where I am now, and this is where I am because I've quit the alcohol, and I don't want to go back to where I was before. So, you know, anyone who's got these things after a year or 2 years, 6 months, understands what it is. You know, they understand that it's just a thought, and they do that same thing. They do the eye roll, or they have a little laugh inside, and they're positive about it, right? That's the key here, you know, is to be positive, not to think about these things in a negative way, not to think about them like they're anything wrong with you, like there's something untoward happening beneath the surface. It's all part of the whole process, you know. Life is going to throw you these little curveballs every so often, and you just have to let them gently slide across your mind, acknowledge them, and let them go. Have a little smirk about it, roll your eyes, be a little bit sarcastic, whatever it takes, you know, but get rid of it, and that's it, period. So I hope you understand that. For anyone else, by this comment, I'm not talking about the commenter here. He obviously knows what the hell is happening, but that if anyone, you know, even if it's a month or a couple of months or 3 months, these are only thoughts, and just don't take any more notice of them than that. You cannot help the thought coming in. What you can help is what you do with the thought, and that's basically it. So if you have any comments, have anything to say about that, leave them down below. Run over to the website and sign up to the newsletter. Until next time, keep safe, keep the alcohol out of your mouth. I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Onwards and upwards.